So some of you may be unfamiliar with the work of a medical intuitive. And so while we're waiting for Gavin to jump on, I'm just going to share my story with you, or how I found out that he was a medical intuitive. Gavin and I were working for the same person for about a year and a half. And we had a conversation one day, and it just kind of came out because Gavin is also a computer programmer. And so that was the work that he did. And we worked together. I worked in email marketing, and he was, doing some of the web pages. And we just had a conversation, and he said, sorry, I had a busy morning. I had clients. And I said, oh, what kind of clients? And it opened up the conversation. He said, well, I'm a medical intuitive. And because I'm an energy medicine lover, I said, so tell me what that is. What exactly do you do? And so he said, well, I help people reset limiting beliefs. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So do I. How do you do it? And he proceeded to tell me. And I said, oh my gosh, that's fascinating. So it is a form of energy work. And that's what it is. And hold on, I'm just checking with him again. Let me just give him the code one more time so we don't have any issues. 001, hold on. 0428. And I am going to go live to Facebook. I'm going to wait till he comes on. So we had an interesting conversation, and he said, well, this is how I reset beliefs. He said, I work energetically. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting? I said, I sort of work energetically too. And so it was just a wonderful thing to understand that he did. And so, and here he comes. So I wanted you guys to experience this. Good evening. And I wanted you to experience the work of Gavin Ashley, because let's face it, this has been one hell of a year. And even if you are a tough cookie, really, I think that this year has challenged every one of us to our very core. Now, you might be somebody who's pivoting in a business, or you need to, or you might have lost somebody and the holidays are coming, or you might be experiencing physical pain. And so I want to bring Gavin on now to share with you the type of work he does and what he's able to do. And if you guys are open and willing, Gavin will actually read for you this evening. So what I'd like you to do is, if you're interested in energy work, drop me a yes. And if you want him to work with you tonight, give me a hell yes. And we won't bother you if you just came to observe and you're just curious. I see some new faces. Hi, new faces. Nice to see you. So Gavin, are you able to unmute? Can we get you to unmute here? Let me see. All right. So I want to introduce you to my friend, Gavin Ashley. And he really does have the skills of the hour at this time of year. And he just wanted to make you feel a little bit better if he can. So thanks for joining us tonight, Gavin. It's great to see you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Lovely to
Absolutely.
be here.
Absolutely. Gavin and I are going to do this about every 2 weeks for sure, through the end of the year and probably into next year. So if you enjoy the work that he does, please share this call with somebody, share my page, his page, get them on the mailing list, but get them here, because I have seen some pretty incredible things in my household and some pretty incredible things with people that we've had on the call. So Gavin, really take the floor and share what you want to share with the audience tonight.
Well, I'm really excited to be here because, my work really centers around, tapping into, sort of the unseen world, if we look sort of be underneath the hood and we look to see what's really going on, we could discover so many amazing things. Sometimes we discover maybe our passions, maybe we discover things that we really want to create in our life. And sometimes we uncover some things that are bothering us or affecting our life in adverse ways. So either way, we uncover something. And that's really where the gold is. A lot of people are kind of dealing with, their conscious programming. They're not kind of sure about, day to day things, but the underlining, issues that we're dealing with is really, what's affecting us. And we look at 2020 and everything that's happening in this year. I see a lot of overwhelm. I see a lot of people over processing a lot of information, which is totally understandable. So what I really want to do tonight is help people, create some space, inside the mind, create some space around their situations. And that actually frees up their mind, frees up their body, and frees them from any type of overwhelm, any type of what I classify as memory networks that are overloaded. And when these memory networks are overloaded, it's causing us, distress and anxiety and frustration. So let's get us, in a peaceful, loving state where we can actually process information, because some of the stuff that's coming at us is not necessarily bad, it's just overwhelming. So how can we create new space around that? So I'm excited to help everybody with that, of course, with their individual situations. But, my study of the brain, for the last 10 years has really focused on overwhelm, anxiety, and how the brain processes information. And I feel like a lot of us are dealing with a lot of information.
Yeah, for sure. And some of that information has been with us for a very long
Yeah, that's
time.
right. Exactly.
And some of it is just being exacerbated now, I think, because of the situation that
Yeah.
we're all in. And I really just feel like, from last year to this year, the end of last year to this year, especially this time of year, it's time for those of us who have a skill set and can help people to really kind of reach our hand down and pull others up, because we really have to sort of stick together, because emotionally we are one and we feel each other's emotions and stuff. So what I'll do is, again, if you, okay, so Evelyn is here, but she can see our message. She doesn't have a microphone or a camera. So Evelyn, if you do want Gavin to work with you this evening, then just give me a yes. And what we'll do is, I'm looking at the screen. I will go from left to right, and I will just call out the name that I see on the screen. And if you're interested, if you know where your reactions button is, it's down the bottom. You're interested and you want the work, just give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, I will just skip over you and you can just feel free to listen, observe, and see what you feel. So Evelyn says yes. Okay. So do you guys know where that thumbs up button is in the reactions box at the bottom, or a heart? Give me just some kind of an emoji here. Good, good, good. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. Okay, so let's start with, I see it as Chris on the phone. That's perfectly okay. You guys know you can change your name in that box, but that's fine. And if you want to share your actual name in the chat, you can feel free to do that. So if you don't know how to change it, there's 3 little dots in the upper right hand corner of where your picture is, and if you click that, it'll say rename, and you can just rename yourself. But if it's your actual name, then okay. So Gavin, you may feel free to begin.
All right. Well, one of the things that's really exciting about this work is I kind of use the brain and the body like a biofeedback machine. I don't know if everybody's familiar with that, but kind of like receiving information in a feedback kind of scenario. So if somebody talks about something that they're dealing with, I can kind of feed back from their body or their mind, and I can get information about, the belief systems, the memories, maybe something that's affecting them. We're going to do some live clearings tonight, on those particular issues, but I can really read the energy, of what people are going through. And so if somebody has a particular situation that's happening in their life, or
Okay.
a physical pain, you know, put it in the chat, or they can unmute themselves, and let's see, what comes back, get some
Okay. Why
information.
don't we do it that way then? Let's work with the energy in the room.
Yeah, I like that.
So somebody drop us a message. Let us know that you're looking for information. And so physical pain. So Gavin, Carolyn is dealing with some physical pain.
Okay. Can you tell me where it is?
Okay, where is it, Carolyn? Giving her a minute.
Okay, so it's in my right shoulder,
Shoulder.
and right now some pressure in the left side of my neck.
Okay, got it. Okay, so let me just do the tune in. Okay, so I'm seeing a kind of what we were just talking about a minute ago with information overload. Feels like a work situation, and feels like kind of like kind of stuck in your shoulder, and it feels like a feeling of inadequacy. And the inadequacy is feels like either people around you, or in relationship to work that you have to do, and this is kind of affecting how you relate to the whole situation of work or people around you, right? So the inadequacy is actually kind of like a stabbing pain, and then the stress is kind of going into your neck. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so sometimes when we feel inferior to others, it's like the body it's not like the shoulder really makes sense as it pertains to that category, but it's going to kind of show up in like kind of weak spots,
I actually have a couple of torn muscles in my rotator cuff, and
Right.
I've had sore shoulders for quite a long time.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. All right. So how do you feel about like can you think of any work situation or coworkers or anything where you feel that, or?
Well, no, I'm retired, but I do have a situation with finances right now that is putting a lot of pressure on me because it was something unexpected that happened. And so, yeah, I'm feeling a lot of financial pressure, and at a crossroads of what I need to do. This is a temporary thing, but it is putting a lot of pressure on me. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so so I'm going to do the process right now, and yes, you can have like, physical issues that have already sort of pre-existing, but then when we go into these emotional places, they go kind of directly to the area.
Yeah. And the inadequacy is feeling like I should have done better with money management. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good information. It's okay to feel the emotion. It's okay to, acknowledge it. We don't want to stay in it, but that's really good that it's coming up. Okay. So let me just process that for you right now. So I just have you take a deep breath in through your mouth and then out through your nose. So what we're doing through this process is we're actually going into the memory, and we're actually what I classify as compressing the negative charge. So we take a negative charge, we compress it, and it's okay to feel emotional, just to let it release and stuff, right? And it's like we have a lot of charge inside those memories. I'm just going to keep processing that for you. Next thing I see is kind of feeling trapped, not seeing a way out. So, okay, so let's process that memory, because that can be kind of suffocating. A little bit of hopelessness, and the last thing I see is okay, I see that. I know I should have known better, and sort of like it's going to affect me for many years. So let's clear that as well. So what happens is when we process this memory, you can actually feel neutral. It might take a couple minutes or up to an hour. When we feel neutral about something, then we can actually go ahead and start making new choices, and we can start moving forward, right? But before that happens, we kind of feel like, stuck. So how are you feeling so far?
I feel more hopeful already. My neck feels a little bit less pressure on it.
Okay. How's your shoulder feel?
Well, pretty much the same. Just is worse at night.
Okay.
So, but something that has to heal up, but a problem for a long time because of carrying burdens that I should have asked for help about.
Well, sometimes, through this process, what can happen is we can preserve the lesson, for our future, and then we can process all the memory, and then we don't have to live with all the guilt and the shame. We can move on, and we just take the lesson and we say, okay, I learned something, and it can feel good. Prior to that, it's hard to take the lesson because we're too in the emotion of it, right?
Yeah. Well, I know it's good. I mean, I'm going to definitely learn the lesson, but, just to talk to you about it helps me sort of figure it out and put it into perspective, because it's a permanent thing, although it has been kind of a permanent pattern and way of being, but, it's time for a big change. So,
Oh, I see it.
That's awesome. Well, yeah, let's give it a couple minutes. I'll check in with you a little bit later in the call.
Okay.
Everything's processing, so it should just keep getting lighter.
Thank you.
Okay.
First one I see at the bottom here would be Audrey. So when you're ready to talk with Audrey. Hi, Chris. She's available. So this process is really, really incredible, Gavin. And I just wanted to have you share, you did a little bit, about what are you feeling and sensing when you work with somebody? Do you feel or sense the energy? Do you feel the emotion? What is happening for you in this process?
Well, it's a really good question. To avoid taking on other people's emotion, I kind of set it up like I could see things, so I can see, the actual thought forms, the memories and stuff, kind of like on an LCD screen, in my mind, so I can kind of read that information. And then from there, I can actually start processing it. So it kind of takes me, a little bit removed from the situation. If I take on the emotion, then that can be harmful to me, right?
Right.
For a lot of people that I see I see memory a lot, and the memory in a lot of people is overloaded. So if you guys think of a computer hard drive, maxed out, no more storage space. That's kind of what you guys are dealing with, And so when you're having anxiety, this is just for information for you guys. When you're having anxiety, is basically you're at your max point, and you can't take any more information in, right? So people may say, well, our brains are so sophisticated, they must be able to take in, endless amounts of information. I haven't really experienced that myself. With working with people for 10 years, I discovered that we actually have our max point. And so it's really about now just discovering how we can create tools, because the mind sort of runs out of space, and then we get anxious and we get overwhelmed and we have anxiety and we can't cope, So how do we create more space so that we can deal with all these situations, And so for a lot of people, when I tune in, I just see it's kind of like the highway, in LA, there's just gridlock, right, of information, So it needs to be cleared.
So Audrey, you can feel free to unmute yourself if you want to actually speak to Gavin. That would be fine, because there's probably going to be some communication back and forth between you. So that might be the best way to do it. But what she's saying in the message, Gavin, was occasional pain in the left brain area above the ear includes the upper left sinus area. Would that, okay.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm going to keep looking here.
Okay, so for that one, I'm seeing, so just as a disclaimer, it's not COVID. I see an infection, feels bacterial. And so it's nothing serious, it's just creating some excess mucus,
okay.
in the mucous membranes. This is the emotion of feeling stopped, feeling not being able to move forward, making decisions. So the immune system is kind of like plugged up, and although it is a real infection, so the infection can be cleared. That's not a problem. But I find that with anything in these kind of situations, there's an emotional component, So the immune system is not processing the infection because it feels like there's something that it's waiting for, to process.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, it's like the immune system, should process it. Hello. But it's really dependent on our emotional state. And so if there's a blockage in our thinking, if there's like this feeling of, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? This can sort of stop things. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Right on. Can't get any clearer than that.
Oh my.
How long have you had that feeling?
About a year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not moving out.
Yeah.
Totally...
I'm between countries. I got stuck here for COVID,
Oh.
and I'm stuck, literally.
Okay, literally stuck.
Oh no.
Yeah, literally.
Okay, so what's interesting about this, even if your situation can't change because of COVID, we can still process it, because actually the body and the mind want to get rid of it, but it's really affected by our emotions. So if you're feeling stopped in the moment, it kind of just responds to that stimulus, So the stimulus is like input, output, it's like what we're putting into it, right? So we can kind of come in there and we can process the memory. We can process the infection and move it out, even though your situation doesn't change. Because sometimes, let's face it, we have logistical situations
Yes.
with COVID, right?
Yeah.
Change that.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we get the body processing? So let me
Okay.
just initiate that. So the sinuses are kind of telling me, it's like, this is interesting. Like or I guess I could say the body that's coming from the sinus area. They're looking for sort of like looking for a solution, right? Or like for you to make a choice, right? So even if you can't make a choice right now,
Yes.
it's more about just helping the body understand, because sometimes the body, doesn't really get, what we're thinking or understand. It just responds to it, right? So, so I'm just going to help it really understand the situation. And do you feel like there at some point you have to make a choice, or or a decision, or you're kind of like conflicted about it, or?
I'm kind of having a very happy time being back in the States because, it's all stressful in the other country I live in. And I forgot what it was like to be home. But then this comes up. So I'm wondering anyway, I'm just wondering.
So
but at the moment, I don't have to decide anything, at least for the next 3 months. I'm good.
Okay, yeah. So at some point you have to make a decision, kind of thing.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, all right. I think that's where the body's just like, what is she going to decide?
Okay, which plane is she going to get on? Okay.
Exactly. Okay. So let me realize all that, so you can just be in the moment.
Oh, that would be nice, just like right here. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you.
And you know what? I mean, we all hear it. We've read it in so many books about being in the moment, right? So I get that concept. It's a beautiful concept, but sometimes because we have so many things going on, we might just be kind of in different places. Like what's going to happen? You could be thinking about what's happening in 3 months, so let's just neutralize all that. So we don't have to worry about it, and just whatever happens. So. So that might take some time to actually feel. You could feel something soon, but it's most likely later on, but that should start releasing. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, my pleasure.
Thank you. So I'm going to go back to the top here, and I just put out a post that I see Evelyn, Ariana, and Sherry. So I'm going to go to Sherry at the top. Physical pain in the ovarian area and upper part of the lower back right side. So Sherry, you can unmute yourself if you want to speak to Gavin. Thanks for hopping on tonight. I know it sometimes takes a second to get yourself unmuted. And if you cannot, I am going to try to do that for you. Hold on just a second. Where are you?
There we go.
There we go.
Hi, Gavin. Thank you.
Okay, so this is with you're just talking about the lower back, right?
Yeah, and ovary pain.
Ovary pain. So how long have you had that?
It's been going on for about 1.5 years, and seems to be benign tumors that the reason I got on this call is they seem to be emotionally related, from what I understand.
Yeah, most likely. Okay, let's take a look here.
Oh, I see Carolyn.
Hmm. So the first thing I saw was it's around purpose. Okay, so let's see where that's going. So I guess it's like finding your purpose. Okay. And we need some more information. So let's see. Okay, so it feels like so the first thing I saw was about purpose, and then the next thing I saw was feels like kind of like an effort unreceived. So when you're putting a lot of effort in and not receiving a lot of response, and then trying a lot of different things, you know, and then things not working, and then where am I supposed to go with this? So it's kind of like trying to move forward, and the ovaries are very much connected with change of life. You know, so how can you move forward with life, take effort in it, receive something in response, and feel like you're actually getting something in response to what you're trying? Does that make any sense?
Oh, it's right on. Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of like the ovaries start to get into pain because they lack the understanding about the change of life and why it's not occurring. And that's all coming from the mind, right? So all of that can be processed, but it's kind of like, for your own consciousness, I understand it can be hard sometimes when you put a lot of effort in and then it's kind of like doesn't feel like you get whatever you put out in return, you know, so that can be challenging. So let's kind of reframe all of that energy into feeling more like everything that all the effort that you put into it so far was necessary for you to get to this point, and then we can move forward with a clear path, and we don't have to kind of carry this weight of like trying so hard and things not working out, you know. And I can compress all that negative charge inside the memory around having tried before and it's not really working out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, so let's do that. And then after I compress it, let's see what else comes up.
Okay.
Okay, so the next thing that came up was around your throat chakra. It was like your voice, so self expression, speaking up, speaking up for yourself, which also pertains to what we were just talking about. So it's kind of interconnected. So sort of helping you get to the next level of self expression, feeling that you can actually make a decision that can drive forward on your purpose and feel good about it from speaking up with something that you really want, instead of what other people say. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's kind of like throat chakra, and then we have uterus kind of feeling stopped, life change, moving into transforming into a new type of lifestyle, but then with also your body is transitioning, so helping the body transition, helping you transition, and opening up your voice that you can speak up so that you can say your truth and connect with your purpose. So, okay, let's compress all that. How's that feeling right now?
Good.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it does. Is that related also to the right side upper lower back pain, this muscle spasms, or is that something completely different?
Oh yeah, let me see that. It feels like a support thing.
Okay.
So that would be okay. That'd be like supporting yourself. And so the lower back has to support the your upper frame, which is pretty significant from a body structure standpoint. But then this is all about you supporting yourself and supporting yourself with your new goals, right? So there's a feeling of lack of support, not being able to fully support yourself. Well,
Yeah.
you can support yourself, but it feels like there's a lot of weight on you,
Yes.
you know. And then finding your purpose moving forward. Okay, so there's support there. Okay, let me process that. So when we talk about the lower back, that can also be financial, and feeling supported within the financial, and that's happening for a lot of people, But your voice, speaking out, purpose, feeling supported, you can see how it's all connected, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's all processing. So let us know how you're feeling.
Good. Thank you, Gavin. And Sandra, thanks for having this call.
Yeah, my pleasure.
You're welcome. Feel better. Just goes to show you how very connected energetically we all are. And Gavin is able to separate what he feels from another person as opposed to his own feelings. I don't know the rest of us have that gift. So a lot of times I think, Gavin, maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, but a lot of times I think we also feel each other's emotions, especially collectively with what's going on. So by elevating one or two or five people, kind of lifts the emotional burden a little bit from everybody. So
Yeah, and I feel like everybody's feeling some of the shifts as well because
absolutely,
they're
I
doing it for the group, and a lot of people are dealing with support, financial pressures right now. Feeling overwhelmed. So if you guys are feeling good, let us know.
yeah, I know I'm feeling a difference. So I'm looking at Ariana right now, and she just says, "Thank you for this amazing healing energy. I would very much appreciate help with pain behind my left leg for the last year, spasms when she sits down." And Ariana, feel free to open up your line.
Hi, Gavin.
Hey, how are you?
I'm very well. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. So, you're having leg pain.
I am. And what drew me to the call is the email talking about emotional trauma, which I've been trying to clear abandonment out of my field because I was abandoned by both parents very young.
Mhm.
And as old as I am, somehow I tried everything to clear that out. So I don't know if that's related to the leg pain, but I do not know how to explain this pain. I broke my right leg a couple months ago. That healed right up. But this spasm in the back of my leg, I have no idea what it is. No doctor can tell me what it is. So it just really hurts.
You feel it right now?
A little bit right now, but only because I've been running around. If I'm up, I'm fine. As soon as I sit down, it starts building to the point where if I sit more than a few minutes, it's just excruciating. Like I can hardly breathe.
Hmm. Okay, so let's take a look here.
Thank you.
Hmm. It's interesting. Um, Okay, so the first thing I saw was I always just follow the energy. It doesn't matter what the message is, but it was around. I saw the first word I saw was awake, and so I just followed the train of thought down. It was about. There was a feeling of wanting to be more awake, or as some people call it, woke. Um, being more transformed. There seems to be some frustration around not being, and wanting to be further along, more transformed, more would like to be, more understanding of your body and your emotions, and feeling like you should know better. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think part of it is that I do still have work, and while I'm grateful for it, it kind of feels like it's pulling me away from my spirit soaring, wanting to paint and doing accounting instead, which, I have income. So there's that.
I don't know if it's so much about that. I mean, that could be a component, but it's more like you being hard on yourself, like you should know better, or you should know what this is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So it's kind of like your leg is screaming at you, like, don't worry, like, it's okay, it's part of your journey. Or, sometimes we need other people to come in, and we need them to look at it. Even myself, I have people looking on me, some of my mentors and stuff, so it's okay. So sometimes when we get, when we're hard on ourselves, our body will feel that, right? So let me just start with clearing that, and then see what comes next. Okay, so the next thing was emotions around I should know better, and then I should be more transformed, so let me neutralize that, because you already are. That's just a belief system. And then just feeling like, I guess not following your path. Okay, I can see that now. And sometimes, I say this to a lot of people, sometimes we need kind of a bridge, to get to the next level. And right now, what you're doing supplies you with income, so it helps you with that. And then we slowly, move towards our goals. You guys can still hear me? Okay, you're back. You can start, keep moving towards your goals, and start, and keep obtaining that more and more. And if you need something in the meantime, that's okay. So just like giving yourself grace for that. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to keep processing. How's your leg feel right now?
It feels good. As soon as you started working, I closed my eyes and I could feel the energy of just a tension there, and lightness, and movement, so to speak. I could feel the sensation of the healing.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah.
Thanks.
Definitely we can process the memory around, with your parents. Might take a little bit longer, but that can all be handled. And, the leg and the feet typically, can be associated with moving forward. So if you feel like you're not moving forward with your spiritual growth or whatever, even though that's not really true, it's just how we perceive things, then it's like your leg sends you a message. Very strong one, right?
So can we delete that? I like the delete part.
Yeah, exactly.
Hit the delete button.
Yeah.
You're exactly, I know it sounds cliche, but it's like you're exactly where you're supposed to be. And sometimes we don't feel that way. So, if we tell ourselves that, or we give ourselves an affirmation, sometimes we just kind of feel like we're BSing ourselves. But, through this process, we can actually neutralize the memory, and it can actually feel that way and feel actually neutral about exactly where we are, because it's brought us to this point. If we feel, that we are, there's something wrong with us for where we are right now, the body will most likely tell us, so. All right. So I'm going to keep processing that memory and, keep us up to date on how you're feeling.
Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
Joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, we've got a few more people here. Evelyn, you want to unmute yourself? She's having vertigo as a major issue right now. Not sure what caused it. Evelyn, do you want to unmute? Or can you unmute?
Oh, no, Mike.
That's right. No, Mike. Okay, forgot about that. Sorry, Evelyn. So this is what she said. Vertigo is her major issue. She's not sure what caused it a few months ago. Not as bad as it was then, but still stops her from doing things. There's another post as well. Let me see. Okay, so further information, Gavin, is the day it happened was right after she had cleared a ton of emotional blocks. And she felt so excited that the next morning she'd wake up and be able to stop procrastinating and kind of get on with her life. But her first thought was, no, she can't be doing this to herself. And she says, I still can't believe that I must have done it. But it's but the vertigo is the physical issue.
It's possible that something got unearthed from the clearing, and sometimes that can happen, and then there's nothing there to facilitate that after the big clearing because it's done. So first thing that came up was respect, feeling not respected and disrespected. And there's some strong emotions around not being listened to, voice being heard, not being allowed to speak. So it's kind of like the vertigo. I think the vertigo is just, the mind circling around these thoughts and creating an anxiety around, feeling like this. And it's kind of creating like an energy vortex, especially around the head area, and then kind of losing your balance. So that also pertains to feeling unbalanced and not feeling totally connected with yourself. Okay, so let me clear that. Okay, so that's processing. Not seeing much else right there. So it kind of feels like the emotional upheaval that came from the clearing kind of unearthed something, and then it never got processed. So it was kind of sitting underneath. Sometimes we have to be careful about that. I mean, not that it's bad. It's just, we have the subconscious is like an onion. So we unravel something, and then new things come up for priority. But then if they don't get processed, they're kind of sitting out there in the open. So, let us know how you're feeling.
Waiting to see any text message here because she can't talk to us. Thanks for coming on, Evelyn. We appreciate it. Antoinette's been waiting for a while, so I'm going to go with Antoinette. And Antoinette, you can unmute yourself if you would like to. And we thank you for coming on tonight. She's recently getting headaches. She never usually gets them on the right front side of the forehead and mostly, but sometimes the left. Her left eyelid looks lower than the other. That's a new issue. And she would like to tell her shoulder it's okay to heal. She also has fibroids and would like to have those, understand what those are there for and would like them to go away. So she's got a few things. So why don't we just let Gavin see what kind of energy he feels, Antoinette, and see what comes up for you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'll just start with the headache. Feels like some kind of abandonment, rejection, feeling like left behind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the headache can actually, this is very, I wouldn't say very common, but it's more common for the head area to be traumatized by these kind of strong emotions, right? So the head is sometimes an area where it can direct a lot of energy focus around not feeling really connected with ourselves, right? So we kind of lose connection with ourselves. And so with the rejection, it feels like there is sort of memory caught up inside the brain that's causing pain. So I kind of see it in sort of like the limbic system of the brain and also in the frontal lobes. Very unprocessed memory, and it's stuck. Right. So when we have stuck memory, it's kind of like it's like anything that's stuck. It's kind of going to be painful. So let me just push that through right now. There's a little bit of feeling of I'm not allowed to be myself. So it's not helping. And that kind of creates a perception of abandonment and rejection because if we don't feel that we're allowed to be ourselves, then we can kind of start being attracted to these kind of concepts. And these concepts are, I'm not allowed to be myself. Therefore, I need to perceive myself a certain way. Not that those feelings are not valid. It's just, can sometimes make the situation even worse. So let's process that memory as well. Okay, so that's completed. How's everybody feeling?
Good.
You feeling it, Sandra?
Yeah. I had a little tension in the neck today.
Yeah. It's releasing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of shared memories tonight, so that's good. We clean up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I haven't had anything go on in the neck. I had a really disturbing dream this morning, and it was that my son broke a leg.
Oh,
and
wow.
I watched it happen. And so, of course, I'm sitting there with my coffee. I went on the web and I said, the dream dictionary, what does it mean? If somebody, I didn't break the leg, he did. And it was just saying, it had a couple of different meanings, but one of them had to do with sort of what, obviously your foundation has been broken. And so interesting stuff. But there were a few others as well. One was good and one wasn't so good. So you never know with those dream dictionaries exactly what that means. But definitely a fracture of the right leg is something about challenges, uncertainty moving forward. So,
Right.
And I knew that from the work I do. Interesting stuff, though.
Yeah. No, it's feeling really light.
Definitely lighter. So we've got Antoinette, and I know that we have, I just saw Kimberly Emma, I'm not sure exactly what, but I want to go back, Gavin, because Jill was here before. Jill, you've come on with us before, right?
No, I've never been on Gavin's call before, no.
Okay, I thought maybe that you had the very first one, so I was going to see if anything had changed. So feel free to tell Gavin what is going on with you.
I experience some unexplained fatigue. It's intermittent. Some days I feel really, really bad, and other days I feel fine. I have a lot of energy, and so that's mysterious. And then also I've been experiencing, I started a new spiritual practice a few months ago, and that has led to a lot of unexpected changes. One of the things that I've been experiencing is vibrations throughout my body. I started experiencing them at night. I would become lucid while I was asleep, and then experience them, but then I started experiencing them during the day, throughout the day.
I can relate to that. I'll let Gavin do his thing first.
So do you like these energies, or they don't feel good?
You mean the vibrations?
Yeah.
Well, the first time I experienced it, I thought I was dying because I was asleep, and I was like, when I became lucid while I was asleep, I was partly outside of my body, my physical body. I was also inside of my body, but I wasn't sure what exactly was happening. It felt like an earthquake. It was terrifying. So I thought, oh my gosh, am I dying? But then I woke up. So that was terrifying. But then just the vibrations I feel throughout the day are much more subtle than that. They're not like dramatic in that way that it happened the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Are they in your hands and feet, Jill?
It's all throughout my entire body. So my whole physical body is this it's a physical vibration I'm feeling.
I was just curious because last year I had a significant awakening. And ever since then, my hands and feet constantly, I can feel the energy in my hands and feet. And I've had situations at night where it was so intense, I felt like I was going to levitate from the bed.
Yes.
And it
Yes.
That was a good thing.
Well, it is a good thing. The first time I had a very intense one, and the best way for me to explain it to you is this way, is that my heart felt like it was coming out of my chest. It wasn't beating. It just felt like an expansion, and it scared the living shit out of me, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
But it happens all the time now. And one of the things I started working with a lot were tuning forks. And tuning forks move energy very well. So it was just the combination of everything I was doing. It's like a Kundalini awakening, but it's scary as hell because it's intense. I almost want to say to people, can't you feel that? Because it feels like it's coming off of you like a foot.
Yes.
It's buzzy. I thought I had some kind of neurological problem. Is that kind of what it feels like? Pins and needles, sort of, kind of.
Well,
Anyway.
the first time I felt it when I was asleep and I became fully lucid while I was in my sleep state, I felt as though I'm not quite sure how to describe this, but if somebody was watching my body sleeping, they wouldn't have been able to tell what I was experiencing. But from the perspective of my consciousness, it was like I was experiencing my energetic body from another realm, from the perspective of another realm. And it's unlike anything I've ever experienced before. It was like a very violent kind of a shaking. That's why I described it like an earthquake. But like I said, I thought that I might be dying because it was just so dramatic.
Yeah, it sounds like a Kundalini awakening.
But then, like you said, like you described, like it happens all the time now, just during the day. And it really does feel like there's energy coming off of my body. Like
it is.
Right.
Flowing through you. And that's the funny thing. Like, okay, so Gavin's working with people and he's attaching emotions and feelings that he can sense in certain body parts, or we feel them in certain body parts. But if that energy is not released, it's hard for energy to flow like you're feeling. But once, like the work Gavin's doing, Gavin can actually help release those chakras. He was just speaking tonight about the throat chakra with Sherry. And so that Kundalini, that energy can't flow if you've got a block. So my guess is that I've heard this a bunch of times from people, and then I experienced it myself. Not as dramatic as you did, but you might have really moved some energy and you were able to awaken your central energy channel. And that's exactly the way I've heard it described. Gavin, weigh in on this. What are you sensing and feeling?
Well, okay, the first thing with the energy, I sensed there was a parasite, so I could clear that. If you have any other parasite type cleanses, you could use those, because it feels like the immune system is kind of fighting something, I mean, I wouldn't say 100% parasite, but that's what it feels like. But it's definitely immune system infection. But it feels most likely parasite. And then, so you can clear that out, and I can help with that. In terms of what Sandra's talking about, definitely Kundalini can do that. But, we can, I can balance the energy so it's not like that unless somebody enjoys that experience. But sometimes it kind of throws off the energy body, the energy system. And I've known people that have gone through Kundalini, and it can be quite disturbing to their energy for a long period, so that can be balanced,
Yeah, it can be unpleasant. I've heard some people describe it as unpleasant. Scary.
Yes.
A little scary. So, Jill, what would you like Gavin to do?
Whatever you think would be helpful.
Okay. Yeah, let me just clear up the energy, because I feel like there's something stuck there, in the chakra system. So let me just work on that. I guess you're not feeling it right now.
No, I'm not feeling it right now, but I felt it all day yesterday.
Yeah.
I was also feeling something very unusual, which was like the sensations that that I have normally, inside my body, because I'm a human, inside of my human body. I was also experiencing those same sensory experiences in my energetic field. So it was like my body was like extended into my energetic field, not physically, but the same sensory perception was extended into my energetic field. It was very unusual, not in the way that it is when you like do remote viewing, but like the actual physical sensory experience was in my energetic field.
Like expansiveness.
That's cool. I mean, did you
Sort
like
of
it?
expansive. No, it's not. It wasn't comfortable at all. It felt like my body was just going on and on outside of my physical body. It was disturbing,
Well,
actually.
that can be rectified too, because it feels like more of a grounding thing. So if I ground your light body back into your physical body, that should correct that. And just you can get my information from Sandra if that doesn't happen, but right away.
Okay.
Basically, it could, because the only reason I say that is because sometimes you have to ground the light body more than once, but eventually we'll get it. Clear the parasite and then clean up the chakras, get the energy just flowing. Because I have known some people that have done this Kundalini thing, and it just kind of goes rogue. It's not bad. Necessarily, but it's kind of like on its own, and we can redirect the energy, clean it up, and you don't have to keep having that experience.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Nice to see you again or hear you again. And Kimberly, I know you did put something down here. Let me go back for a second.
Oh.
Or
I didn't put anything.
Okay, I was going back to look. I wasn't sure. How are you tonight?
Hey, Kimberly.
Hello. I was trying to figure out who I was. No.
Is she Kimberly or is she Emma?
Yeah, my daughter's Emma. She was last logged in, and for a minute I forgot how to change the name, and then it finally clicked. Okay. I get the main thing that comes to mind that I tend to sabotage myself, in particular with weight loss. And so I've been through a lot of emotional abuse, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Kind of growing up and through a couple of marriages and anyway, but sabotage, that's the word.
I got it. First thing I saw was the emotion of kind of feels like defiance. So like wanting to, I guess being told a certain thing for many years. Then you wanting to do your own thing, which is fine. But then it's kind of like this rebellion.
Okay.
So the rebellion is causing you to sort of go against your discipline, but you feel like you're entitled because you were told, whatever that you couldn't do previously. So let's see, let me just make sure. Yeah, so it's kind of like the eating and doing what you want is more of like a program on the subconscious trying to defy the having to do something that you're told. Is that making sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For the first time in your life, which is a good thing. It's not totally
Kimberly
productive.
in my fueled program, so we had a one-on-one, and she's a very strong-willed lady. But I don't try to bend anybody's will. I just want to make things work for them. But I would say he's pretty accurate, Kimberly.
Yep, pretty much.
Oh.
I know, and it's yeah. I as a child, I was like, "You're being so hard-headed." Of course, now it's oppositional defiant, and so I'm dealing with that with my daughter Emma. Of course, she's also a teenager, but anyway.
The mother's curse.
Right. Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's kind of like I wouldn't say it's totally productive belief system, but it's kind of like for the first time in my life, I get to do what I want. I'm not going to listen to anybody else, and I deserve this because I've been what X, Y, Z has been taken away from me. So let's clear all that so you don't have to run the program, because some of this can be mindless eating. It can be just eating out of spite. Now I get a chance to do whatever I want. So I'm gonna eat whatever I want and do whatever I want.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I can feel it.
But it's not productive. So, all right. So let's start that process. Okay, so that process has started. It's a pretty large network of memories, but see how much gets processed today, and then you'll probably start noticing a difference in your eating, or you kind of like certain things will become not as interesting to you anymore.
Okay.
And because when you don't have the program that I need to defy, then there's no reason to eat that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
Okay, awesome.
Hi, Kimberly. Gavin, how much more time can you spend with us tonight?
A couple more minutes, yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to check in on Caroline, see how she's feeling.
Okay, let's do that. We have 2 people left waiting for a moment. Jill says her energy's really shifted. Thank you, Gavin and Sandra. You're welcome, Jill.
Okay, awesome.
Carolyn?
Yeah, so Gavin, I'm feeling better.
Awesome.
Yeah, I feel emotionally more centered now and less pressure on my neck, and I think it will continue to process throughout the night. Yeah, feeling much better than I did a few hours ago.
Okay.
It felt like I was at the end of my rope. Much better now. Thank you so much.
Oh, fantastic. You're welcome.
Now, if you guys did not see it, I'll do it again, but I'm going to put Gavin's, Becky's got her hand up. Becky, give me just 1 second, hon. I'm going to put Gavin's email address in here because I want to let you know before we do end tonight, and if you need to jump off, that Gavin is available for you to work with. You can reach out to him directly and continue the work that you're doing. Very, very beneficial work. I don't think there's any more beneficial work than helping clear negative beliefs and emotions and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that one more time, Gavin. And
okay, great.
And remember, we're going to come on about every other week. So the next time we'll be here is the 2nd, December 2nd, 7:30. So Becky, I'm going to give the floor to Joanne for a moment, and then we'll see if we can squeeze you in for a minute, and we definitely will be back in a few weeks. Joanne, you want to unmute yourself?
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey, Joanne.
Gavin, I have a severe infection and I got a severe fever right now, so I don't know. Oh, what am I doing? You're not up top. There you are. I'm looking at myself going, I know it's like you were gone, but I have a severe kidney and a UTI, but I'm also in quarantine. They didn't do a COVID. They said because I have a fever, I got to stay in the house and I got to do antibiotics. I don't know what's going on because when you like that, you can't feel, but I just wanted to jump on and watch it because I think you're great. But then I said, maybe, I don't know if you could read me because of the fact that there's so much going on inside. Does that make sense?
Oh, I can always read you, so that's no problem.
With the infection and because everything you said tonight was related to me. I was like, bacteria, yeah, parasite, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, and I said, well, maybe I'll give it a shot. I didn't want to, jump on and take all your time, but I figured, well, I'm here.
All right, no problem, no problem. Okay, so yeah, definitely not COVID.
I was just like, and I can feel it through my whole body. It's just like tingling, and it's that iggy feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely emotional. Okay, let's see what it is. So, okay, it feels like an infection, but I'm not actually seeing that. I saw more being taken advantage of.
Oh yeah, that happened this week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But they
So,
did see they did a kidney scan and my kidney was inflamed. So
I mean, definitely you're having physical response to everything, definitely, right? And that's what.
yeah, because I was supposed to be in Florida. Yeah. Go
But
ahead.
it's not like it's a phantom thing, but it's more about what
Yeah.
causes, right? So taking advantage of, it's definitely inflaming all of that. And um, sometimes what happens is when we get really strong emotions, it kind of pushes toxin out of the cell. And when we push toxin out of the cell, then we can feel like flu-like symptoms, fevers, that kind of thing, right? So let's just flush out the taking advantage of and feeling like screwed over. That is actually pretty old too, but
Perfect word.
more recent, but goes back a number of years, right? So
Mm.
kind of the cells are really wanting to push this toxin out. So let's do that. All right, so keep us up to date on how you're feeling. That should shift for you.
Thank you, doctor. I said, oh, I gotta get on. Gavin's on.
Have a great night.
Thank
All
you.
right, Becky. We have a moment. We'll bring you on. You can
I
speak.
feel lighter.
Okay. All right. Keep floating.
So I see your hand there. Are you still with us, Becky? There she is. Where'd she go? Okay, she was there and then she wasn't. So she said
I'm here. Oh, can you hear me now?
I can. I was just reading your message.
Oh.
Go ahead, hon. You can.
Oh, hi. I had communication problem. I mean, what do you call it? Internet with my iPhone, so I couldn't get on until I got home. But I have a long list of issues, and the main one, if whatever pops up for him, but is my memory. And I also felt I could relate to everybody else's read or whatever I heard the last, I think, half hour or something. But that emotional trauma thing might have something to do with the memory, but I would love to know whatever pops up.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Let's see what comes up. So the first word I saw was restricted.
Restricted or restrictful?
Both, but well, restricted, but
Yeah.
could be restrictful. But definitely restricted. Okay, so something about, I mean, the energy in the brain is restricted.
I have oxygen, lack of oxygen because of the endothelial and also thick blood and fibrinogen.
Ah, okay. So emotionally, how do you feel about being restricted?
Stuck, kind of like,
Yeah.
I feel like kind of like left for dead. Then I came alive again, and because I had a traumatic birth, but all through my life, I've kind of been don't feel like I belong, kind of left behind. I'm off the out on the side somewhere. Yeah, restricted. I'm having difficulty always expressing emotions and thinking and speaking fast enough.
I saw like a picture of you like in a cage. That's interesting. So that's your perception of your situation, like kind of feeling like can't go anywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And then, yeah, I saw that you're all alone.
Yeah.
Not belonging. Okay, let's see what else here. So it's interesting with the oxygen and the brain and your other physical symptoms. It kind of like everything kind of gets backed up, but it all precipitates, your original thought process, which is totally valid, by the way, because of your life experience, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. And don't be hard on yourself. It's just your emotions, your body is responding to your emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So feeling restricted and blocking airflow. I see the oxygen in the brain and kind of like I see a little bit of just feeling not capable.
Yeah. It's like part of surrendering and giving up to just accepting it. Like, okay, I'm here to learn from this situation now, or however my life is, and be okay with it. But I also feel like judged a lot. But that's just life. I guess I'm at acceptance. Part of me feels like it's not possible to get better, or
Hopeless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take all that. I'm going to take all that memory. I'm going to start processing it. Let's see what else comes up. Okay, so the next thing I saw was not wanted. Okay, so we talked a little bit about that. So let's compress that.
That was when they found out they were pregnant, because there wasn't enough money to feed another child.
Oh, wow. And a lot of that gets passed on through the womb.
Yeah.
Sure does. It sure does. I was just going to say, I wish that I had enough skill with this to do a group tuning, and I would love to do that soon. But one of the things that I feel with the fork often is traumatic birth or unwanted at birth. And it's right out at the edge of someone's field. And currently, I don't feel comfortable enough to work with an entire group. But if anybody wants a little demonstration, just reach out to me. You can respond to any of the emails I've sent, the one that invited you to this call today, because I was actually supposed to get certified next week. And I didn't have a physical body because it's now virtual. So I had to postpone. So I'm happy to do the work for anybody with physical or emotional issues as well. Just, in addition to what Gavin can help you with, and see how you feel. Because energy work is amazing. It's the future of our healthcare. It's definitely the future of healthcare. How are you feeling?
For sure. Thank you.
Becky.
How do you feel, Becky?
I had a little pressure like in my third eye area, and then like a cough, like something like was releasing, like a little burst of energy kind of went up my spine.
Mm.
Yeah, I got that tickle in my throat again. I also have thyroid issue. I have too many issues to even list.
Well, you know, the good news, Becky, is a lot of them are interconnected, so it might feel overwhelming, but a lot of them are related. You know.
Okay.
So when you fix one, you fix a lot of others. So, you know, we can work on all that. You know, obviously, you can imagine there's a lot to clean up, but right now there's a lot of processing. The memories are getting neutralized. You should feel some relief, and feels like a little bit more oxygen going into the brain. So let me know how that feels.
Okay. Well, I was having, I forgot what it's called. You can't exhale all the air, reactive airway disease, and it's having shortness of breath, and that I'm not feeling that as much right now.
Okay.
Like earlier I was feeling that.
And
yeah, the oxygen I feels like it's flowing a little bit better.
Yeah, breath is everything.
Mm.
Everything. That's life right there. So breathing deeply, and just even if you put your hands to your chest so that you're aware of your heart and your lungs, take a deep breath right in there. Try to push it below. Just that one deep breath can sometimes be enough to just, you know, for that moment, get you past any negative emotion or any tension. Well, guys, this has been really wonderful to be with you. We've gone over quite a bit. So for the next time, we will be here for an hour, and we'll do our best to have Gavin help while we're on the call. But remember, I've just given you his, can you give him some love down in the reactions section there? If you felt the love tonight, yeah, give it back, right? Right down the bottom reactions button. How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling better than you came? Drop us a comment. Awesome. So we will see you guys again on the I keep saying the 28th. I'm sorry, it's December 2nd. And maybe we'll come up with a topic that we can speak around for a moment, and then we can have Gavin help you as best he can. But reach out to him, see what he can do for you. And some of the work that I've seen that he has done is really, truly transformative. These are just the things that hold us back, that are tough for us to get past, right? And sometimes you need help, and it's okay to ask for it. So we hope to see you again. So stay close, stay around. And Gavin, thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Great night.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you both.
Have a great night.
Have a wonderful night, everybody. Thank you.